Okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It did say like your voicemail wasn't set up or something. So,
Well, I'm glad that you called again.
yeah. All right.
I
So, is now still a good time for the interview?
Now's a perfect time.
Okay. First of all, do you go by your full name, Isaiah Montague Harris, or just Isaiah Harris?
Uh, yeah, usually it's just Isaiah Harris. Isaiah Montague Harris. It sounds more grand, so I like saying that in the playbill.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, so describe your role in Funny Girl then.
So my role in Funny Girl is I am Fanny Bryce's best friend, and I kind of teach her the moves to keep her relevant and get her seen
Mm-hmm.
in the world of entertainment. And so basically, I basically teach her the basic steps that she needs to do, because I know that she has her own flair. And so once she learns those basic steps, she goes on stage and she does um, those steps in herself. And then I just kind of push her to greatness as much as I can. And eventually, I'm just there to choreograph, and I'm there for moral support. And also, I'm a great tap dancer. So whenever they need to start the show for a tap dancing number, then I'm there for that too.
Okay. So did you do any studying to prepare for this role?
Yeah, so I got the role, and as soon as I got the role, I saw the movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the funny thing about the movie is Eddie Ryan doesn't have a big part in the actual movie. It's just excuse me, hold on a second. It's just the Broadway play where Eddie Ryan has like a solo and kind of more lines
Mm-hmm.
um, and things like that. And so what I really did was I watched a lot of 1920s movies and just kind of studied how they act and how they move. Um, and it really just led me back to kind of how I knew it was. I grew up watching movies like Sound of Music and
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of Dick Van Dyke and um, just famous guys like that that would have this kind of quirky but sophisticated way of moving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just kind of applied that to my character. But eventually, it was really just me adding myself to Eddie Ryan because Eddie Ryan's just a sweet guy that just really wants the best for Fanny.
Okay. So you've really done your homework then.
Yeah, it was a mix of everything, really.
So how does it feel to have Funny Girl as your Broadway debut?
Oh man, it's honestly my favorite thing I've ever done in my whole entire life.
Mm-hmm.
It I love to dance, to tap dance like no other. I mean, of course, there's other people that love tap dance, but I
Mm-hmm.
love to tap dance so much. It really feels like me. I'm speaking, and
Mm-hmm.
so and me falling in love with tap dance kind of made me do more tap dancing shows, and but before that, and through that, I was always like singing, and sometimes I was taking vocal lessons. I actually majored in vocal performance in college.
Mm-hmm.
I did some musicals through college and a lot of musicals in high school. But after that, I was doing so many tap dance shows that I was missing acting. I was missing singing, and I was missing just kind of putting it all together. And
Mm-hmm.
when I got this role, I cried for weeks. I cried for weeks, man. Like literally, and then on top of that, when I read the role, I was like, oh my gosh, like it feels like therapy going on stage, like
Mm-hmm.
because the guy, the Eddie Ryan. I mean, it's such a sad story, just of a performer trying to live live a life that they want while uh, juggling stardom.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but that's hard. Uh, and I mean, not even stardom, but just like the entertainment business where people have egos and like probably not a lot of therapy. So,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, it's something to learn from every single night, and that's why I love it too. It's really it's just something to fall in love with. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So, what other shows have you been a part of? Like tap dancing shows, musicals?
So the last show that I was a part of before this was a show called Artists at the Center.
Hmm.
Um, it was Artists at the Center was a show choreographed by Ayodele Cassell, who is the choreographer of Funny Girl the musical.
Hmm.
Excuse me. Sorry. Um, yeah, choreographer for Funny Girl the musical. She put together a tap dance show that was mostly tap dance and kind of um, paying homage to the greats of tap dance, and I was lucky enough to be a part of that.
Hmm.
Um, Before that, I mean, some highlights I did river dance in Ireland for 3 months.
Oh,
That was
okay.
beautiful. Um, Before that, I did After Midnight on Norwegian Cruise Lines.
Hmm.
Um, and then as far as musicals, I did. I remember I did Scottsboro Boys
Hmm.
in Chicago, and I did Once on This Island. I did Bobby and You're in Town when I was in high school, and that was a really really funny one. I love that one. And yeah, those are just a couple of them, really.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that you were part of Riverdance. My dad was actually he toured with Riverdance for like 10 years of his life.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's he's from Ireland, so he came over to the States in Riverdance, and that's how he met my mother. She was an usher in the theater.
That's how we met your mother.
Yep.
Oh my. Is he Irish dancer then?
He doesn't do it anymore. He plays Irish music in a band. So,
Oh man. Well, congratulations to him. He looked it up.
hmm.
He got the best reward ever.
Yeah. So tell me about how you got into tap dancing.
So my mother is a choreographer. So she when I was 5 years old, I started doing tap dancing at her studio, or the studio that she was teaching at.
Hmm.
Um, um, so when I would when I would start when I was starting, I did not really like tap dancing, to be honest. It's really just because tap dancing is just a lot of work to understand. You know, it's basically like learning a new language.
Hmm.
And that's how I can describe it because I feel like that close to it now. Because you really want to be able to be good at something even when you first start. So even when I was a young kid, I was just like, oh, this is like I have to practice for hours, like 10,000 hours. It just doesn't come fast enough. And
Hmm.
and so I and so all through 5 years old to high school, I was still doing it, still doing it. I even started teaching assisting, and at the end of high school, I started teaching it to like the little kids. And I was still like, okay, like yeah, I'll be doing this for a while,
Hmm.
um, not as serious. But so then I ended up uh, one day I was like just practicing something that I needed to teach or whatever, and I just decided to like let me put some umph into it. Let me like start to actually like put some feeling into it, like because everything the technique is going to be as good as possible as technique can be, but unless you put some heart into it, that's when it's really good. And so I ended up doing that like randomly, and then my aunt she came in into the theater into the studio that I was practicing at, and she
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, that actually sounded good." But I think she meant it like that was better than other times, and and I but and at the time I didn't feel very secure and confident in my own voice.
Hmm.
So after that, I decided to start putting how I felt through my feet, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So I decided to, like, just like put all that effort in there. And if I was mad, then I was gonna tap dance. If I was happy, I was gonna tap dance. And I was just gonna, like tap dance the things I couldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then I just started focusing on more technique, more heart, and yeah, now I'm tap dancing every day.
Mm-hmm. So, in general, what's it like to be a touring performer?
In general, it's like, mm, that's a good question. Uh, it feels, uh, I mean, from in my opinion, equal parts glamorous and equal parts unstable.
Mm-hmm.
Because and because I love traveling. I love traveling. So I get to see new things, and I like hotels because I don't get to clean. I have to clean all the time. I do miss doing dishes, so that's probably a weird thing to miss. But yeah, and but the unstableness is that my stuff is everywhere. You're really living out of suitcases all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and which is kind of good because when I was living in New York, I was always living out of suitcases because I didn't have cabinets or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's it's beautiful, but like in its own way, it's really just something to get used to. You find your ways to how to cook. A lot of people have air fryers.
Mm-hmm.
I usually DoorDash a lot. I really need to get an air fryer. Uh, but then it's also like, I'm seeing Naples. I'm in Naples, Florida right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know there was a place in Florida called Naples. So I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
Okay. So you've done several shows already. Would you say this cast works well together?
Oh my gosh, I love this cast actually. This cast has a spark to it. Like I feel like we all really care about the show in a
Mm-hmm.
way that like it doesn't make a lot of things personal with anything. Like I don't think we haven't had a lot of like differences between the cast members, and if it was, it was we only show how we flourish
Mm-hmm.
through our dedication to the show. So like even if like anything is happening with themselves, then they're just putting all the energy into doing a better job for the audience and for each other, so we can just enjoy our job and go home peacefully. We have this ensemble. Whew, their ensemble is like great, like really really great. Um, our conductor is amazing. Um, I mean, just everybody is just so talented that uh, so talented, and you can tell that they're talented because they're dedicated to their talent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's a really good key to having a cast mesh together because nobody's really a weakest link. Everybody's holding their weight.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you think this cast compares to the original cast?
So I think this cast. Um, so one thing I noticed in when I saw the cast on Broadway is that they have this rotating set in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what that does is that it makes some things more interesting, but then some things can be hidden and kind of like hard to like maneuver around it.
Mm-hmm.
But for our cast, we um, we kind of make it. We have don't have the rotating thing. Obviously, we can put a rotating structure in the middle of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We we have this kind of and this sounds bad, but it kind of feels uh, more organic. Actually, it doesn't sound bad. It feels more organic to just be moving the set pieces
Mm-hmm.
uh, with ensemble members or crew members, and just kind of making a simple change, but a direct change that goes from um, Miss Rosie Bryce's saloon to the Ziegfeld stage to Mr. Arnstein's hotel room. So I think the thing about this cast, we have a lot of more room to breathe. In my opinion, without that big rotating thing, we kind of just are allowed to feel the stage in our own way,
Mm-hmm.
and where we don't have to, kind of scurry around the big rotating thing. I feel like our cast just has taken that to the like most heartwarming level where people can understand what happens in the front of the stage and also understand what happens in the back of the stage and the relationship between the two. Um, so I guess that's a big scenery change, but we just kind of um, I've heard that it makes the audience feel like more connected to the show.
Mm-hmm. So, what's your favorite part to perform in the musical?
My favorite part. Mm, I mean, it has to be the tap dancing. Oh my gosh, I have this 2 minute solo, two plus minute solo,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like so much longer. I just get to tap dance and on the same stage that I'm singing on, the same stage that I'm acting on, but and also in the stage, I mean, same stage that I'm telling a deeper story on. Um, I, I like so in my solo, I have to um, warm up the crowd. And in the back of my mind, I'm warming up the crowd and Mr. Keeney for Fanny Bryce
Mm-hmm.
because this is the beginning of the show. This is the part where I want Ziegfeld to see Fanny Bryce in the best light possible. So I'm really trying to amp up the crowd as much as I can to and in the most comfortable way possible to show them that they're really in for a show. So I'm just trying to be the best wingman that I can be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's just it feels so good to really just be doing what I love in combination of all the things because in tap dancing shows, I mean, you can be telling a story, you will be telling a story when I'm tap dancing, doing a Gregory Hines tribute, or I'm doing a like any choreography from any of the choreographers that I've worked with. I'm telling their story. I'm telling my story through their lens or through their words. But for this, I get to I get to tap dance in a way that's like a part of a bigger thread that is musical theater, and I just love that. And tap dance not even in a traditional, not in a contemporary um, musical theater way. It's this tap dancing is very like old school and is paying tribute to the greats like John Bubbles um and even got some Gregory Hines in there. Got some Jimmy Slide. You just have all these people that are referenced that are greats that I've been studying. But then also I get to I get to act and I get to hype up Katerina McCrimmon, who is literally in powerhouse, like her singing voice, her acting, her dancing, just everything that she does. So it just feels like an honor to tap dance and tell that story every night.
All right. So, Funny Girl was first released in 1964. Do you think this revival will resonate with a modern audience?
Yes, for sure. I think that this revival like has the accents, has the 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 terminology and the scenery and the references of an old school play.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is just that simple that it's understandable to any audience. Yes, they'll understand that it's maybe not friggin' in the 2020s,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like I just invited my friend over to the show last night, and she was just crying because she was like, "I am funny girl, I am funny girl," and so she just felt the the sadness, the the plight of Fanny Bryce and how hard it is to um, stay strong and independent or funny
Mm-hmm.
while you're going through all this stuff. It's and then even with some people like looking at me when I do my journey, they say that it's hard being the nice guy and I hope that she was going to be with you, but she wasn't. But oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Don't write that down. Let them find that on their own. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and even with Nick Arnstein, like he is a sleazy dude, but I think that even in this one, they don't lean into the sleaziness. They kind of make it more human. Where some people do agree with Nick Arnstein. Fanny Bryce was a little overbearing,
Mm-hmm.
and even with the mom, and like all these things, they're so the script is done so well, the direction is done so well that it's simple enough so you can see all the messages and not feel so far away from it.
Okay. So, what makes this musical so timeless in your opinion?
Hmm. Because I think this musical is timeless because there's there's always a struggle of what we want and what we can have.
Mm-hmm.
There's like there's just a lot of tension with the characters in between each other, but also with themselves. And I feel every character wants um, wants something because of something and can't get that something because of something else. And I don't know that sounds really basic, but like let's say even for Funny Girl, right? In Fanny Bryce, she wants this. She wants to be the bestest of them all. Um, the greatest star. She is. She really is the greatest star.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and really, she's just being herself. Yeah, that's the thing. They want people want to be themselves, but um, themselves doesn't include other people. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the sad part of life, where you try to be yourself, and I believe the best self can include um, success in maybe doing interviews, um, you know, putting together hotels or something.
Mm-hmm.
But that best self does not include finding love. It doesn't include having all the friends that you wanted to have, and sometimes it doesn't even include money. And even for Eddie Ryan, it doesn't include the stardom that other people have. It just includes the jobs, maybe the money, but not exactly the recognition. So it so yeah, it's that contradiction that of life that makes Funny Girl so relevant. You just gotta be funny, even when it's so sad.
All right. Well, I think that's all I had for you. Um, so I'm gonna go see the musical on the 9th when it comes to Milwaukee.
I'm excited.
I know I'm very excited too. I'm taking my girlfriend too. Um,
Nice. Yeah.
she's not really into musicals that much, but I think she'll still like it.
I think she
So
will too.
yeah.
I think she will. It's that good. I promise. Like this is such a good musical. So I
Hmm.
hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it, and and I can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, thanks for meeting with me.
Of course. And what's your name again? I want to see you like at the stage or something.
My name's Kale.
Kale,
Yeah.
like Kaale.
No, like Cael. It's the same name but the Irish spelling. So.
Understand, brother? Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, thank you so much for interviewing me, and I hope to see you later, Kale.
Yeah.